Good evening, everyone. We could have your attention, please. With the head of the Mossad in the room, I'm humbled. So if you guys don't keep quiet, we'll take care of it. Okay. So, Erev Tov, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to open the 22nd International Conference of the World Summit on Counter-Terrorism. This year's conference is dedicated to the memory of the late Shabtai Shavit. May he rest in peace. Founding chairperson of the International Institute for Counter-Terrorism and former head of the Mossad. On Friday, we attended the funeral of this great man. The funeral was conducted with the dignity and honor befitting a warrior and protector of the Jewish and democratic state of Israel. Our heartfelt condolences go out to Yael, the children, and the grandchildren. Let us rise for a moment of silence in memory of dear Shabtai. Yehi Zichro Baruch, may his memory be a blessing. This impressive gathering is a flagship of the International Institute for Counterterrorism of the Lauder School of Government at Reichman University. The theme of this year's summit is Securing Tomorrow, Enhancing Counterterrorism Efforts in a Changing World. During the next 3 full and productive days, hundreds of participants from over 65 countries will share information and learn from each other. These distinguished individuals include ministers, members of parliament, Congress, Knesset, ambassadors. I'm told there are 17 ambassadors in the audience here, not to mention probably twice as many military attachés from various embassies around Israel who all want to fight terrorism together with the State of Israel. Heads of security services, representatives of universities, research institutes, the military, police, senior government, and private companies. Among the participants are also tens of undergraduate and graduate students of the Lauder School of Government, majoring and specializing in the important field of counterterrorism, which has become a very important academic field in this day and age, led by Professor Boaz Ganor. I should mention that we have an undergraduate degree, BA in government, that specializes in counterterrorism. We have a master's degree, which specializes in counterterrorism. Bart Collard of the Amsterdam Police, where are you? Please rise and be recognized. Bart Collard of the Amsterdam Police, if you ever need to fix a parking ticket in Amsterdam. Okay, he is a graduate of the counterterrorism course of Reichman University. We're very proud that a senior member of the Dutch police is a graduate in counterterrorism. All of you will have the opportunity to discuss the ways and means of countering terrorism to help make the world a safer place to live. Please allow me to thank the sponsors and partners without whom we could not have organized this conference. In front of me, I see our amigo, our good friend, Daniel Chussidman, who represents the Chussidman Foundation here. Daniel is not only a major sponsor of this institute, but as you walked into the campus today, you probably saw some construction on the right-hand side. He's a very active guy. He decided to build us a conference center. He and Professor Reichman designed it together. And next year, God willing, this conference is going to take place in the Chassidman Conference Center with the best possible air conditioning, which Zrihan Golan, who's sitting there, the Vice President of Finance, will pay for the air conditioning. Okay? Also by Ambassador Ronald S. Loder, who's been supporting us from the onset. Stephen and Bonnie Stern, who could not be here, but they're watching us directly right now from either from Palm Beach or from Manhattan. Daphna and Gerald Kramer, the late Gerald Kramer, who created the Syracuse program together with Professor Ganor and built a dormitory here. Daphna's probably watching us right now. Evelyn Taman Dweck, Sir David Garrard, and Ava Chang. Sir David is the ambassador of ICT in the United Kingdom. So watch out the Israeli ambassador, because the ICT ambassador is much more important, in our opinion. Is that politically correct to say, boss? I don't know. Is that woke? Is that cancel culture or woke? Okay. We also want to thank the Public Affairs Office of the Embassy of the United States of Israel, Elnet, NGO Monitor, the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, the Municipality of Herzliya, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, anonymous donors. Professor Ganor and myself and Professor Reichman know who some of those anonymous donors are, who don't want to be mentioned, but they are very substantial and very modest and very nice people. I should mention a number of VIPs in the audience. It's always a danger to start mentioning VIPs here. Some of the VIPs will be introduced here as they speak, but I do see Professor Rafi Melnick with us, who is the president of Reichman University. Let's have a hand for Professor Melnick. I see with us Dr. Ayelet Ben-Ezer, who is vice president and CEO of Reichman University. I see with us Colonel Mary Eisen, very fine spokesperson for the State of Israel, who has made the case for Israel for many years and has had a long-lasting relationship with ICT, and she's the incoming director of ICT, if you can believe that. I don't know where the other guy's gone, who was the director, but you'll hear more about that from Professor Reichman next week. But we don't know where you're going exactly. You're on a need-to-know basis. Okay, we have Dr. Adi Kol here, the Dean of Students. I saw from the corner of my eye Anat Bronstein-Klemner, professor who's the Dean of the School of Psychology. Where are you? There you are. Anyone who needs some therapy? She's here, and she's good. She's good. Yaakov Elor, the Dean of the School of Computer Science. He's here. I see from the corner of my eye the Honorable Erwin Kotler, the former Minister of Justice of Canada. Erwin, how are you? Good to have you with us. I see Brian Jenkins, who I have to mention because he lives in Ojai, California, and that's where my summer camp was. Camp Ramah. For 9 years, I went to Camp Ramah. That's what made me make Aliyah, ultimately, Camp Ramah. Very Zionist place. I see Will Sutherland from the UK here, our really good friend, Will Sutherland. He's a Scotsman. I see Avner Tal here staring at me. If you shake his hand, he's a member of the board. If you shake his hand, it might crumble. So we're not going to say exactly what you used to do in the Mossad. And Arle Sharf, who's sitting here with us, who we're glad to have you with us, and we embrace you to this conference. We know how close Shabtai was to you. You guys were best friends, and it's not easy for you. Okay, I'm Jonathan Davis. I'm Vice President for External Relations at Reichman University and head of the Rafael Recanati International School. They say I'm a Lieutenant Colonel Reserves in the IDF, so I'll put that in there too. What the heck, it's the Jewish Defense Army, right? I mean, we defend Israel, the Jewish and democratic state of Israel. Okay? And without any further ado, please allow me to introduce our first speaker for the day. His name is Professor Uriel Reichman. Now, you guys happen to be at Reichman University. This is not the Reichman from Toronto. This is the real Reichman, Professor Uriel Reichman. He served as an officer in the 890 Regiment of the 35th Paratrooper Brigade of the IDF. I have to tell you, it's very dangerous around here because Rafi Melnik was in the 202, Reichman was in the 890, and I was in the Sayeret. So it became a very paratrooper-oriented leadership here, which we're very happy for. In reserves, Professor Reichman fought in the Six-Day War, the War of Attrition, the Yom Kippur War. His brother Gadi of the Tank Corps fell in battle valiantly on the Golan Heights. His father committed suicide over his grave 2 years later. It's 50 years since the Yom Kippur War, and for those of us who fought in it, we've had a few thoughts recently, been a couple of movies about it. We think about it. It's not something that you actually forget. Professor Reichman received his LLB and LLM with distinction from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. He earned his doctorate with distinction from the University of Chicago Law School, but there was a break in the studies because the Yom Kippur War broke out, and Professor Reichman made his way back to Israel to fight with the paratroopers on the Golan Heights. Professor Reichman served as a former dean of the Tel Aviv University School of Law, as well as being a national leader in the fight for electoral reform and a constitution for Israel. Boy, I wish someone would have listened to him back then. Things might be a little calmer now. In 1994, he became the founding president of Reichman University, then known as IDC Herzliya, and now serves as the chairperson of the board of the university. Every square inch developed on this campus is basically the legacy of Professor Reichman, the ultimate academic entrepreneur of the state of Israel. Now, he can be seen checking all the plants and trees to make sure everything's good. There's some dead grass somewhere. He's going to be speaking to the gardener to make sure that's okay. He can be seen picking up gum wrappers to make sure this place is clean. He's a Yekka, so a person of German background. Everything has to be clean and nice. You can see him speaking to the guards every morning and saying hi, because basically, and speaking to students all over the campus because he's busy, but he still believes that the students are equals and that the employees here are equals. So on the one hand, he's a capitalist and believes in free enterprise, but on the other hand, he has the social skills and interactive skills to be very nice to other people. Now, he's busy day and night now creating the Dina Rekanati School of Medicine, which is going to open in about a year from now. He is a bastion of humanistic Zionism, academic entrepreneurship and excellence, and the originator of what we call on this campus, the Reichman spirit, which prevails on this campus and which those who take over the leadership of this university will make sure continue to prevail. Professor Reichman, the floor is yours.